Drill it, baby, drill it. Guyana oil deal sweet. Pump it, baby, pump it.
Kaieteur Radio, keeping you informed.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Burbies 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.
Hello, thank you for tuning in to Kaieteur Radio. I'm Kevin Smith and welcome to your news at noon. These are the top stories we're tracking. Guyana operating without oil regulator for almost 2 years. International analyst says more transparent and accountable government needed. Unvaccinated GPHC staffers locked out of compound say they won't be forced to get vaccinated. Mom seeks justice for rape of 12-year-old girl. DPP had recommended elder teen be charged. Woman assaults cops who tried to stop music. 1 dead, 3 injured after AGM's pickup suffers tire blowout. Missing notes of evidence results in postponement of appeal hearing. And COVID-19 claims the lives of 4 women. Meanwhile, 1 in custody for torching Kanji businessman's vehicles. Reward offered for victim for anyone with information. Stay tuned to stay informed.
I'm in a rush. Digital got me in a rush. Driving style for the summer. Digital summer rush.
Nobody's doing it big like Digicel this summer. Top up with $1,000 or more and collect the letters to spell the word RUSH for a chance to win 1 of 3 brand new Toyota Rush SUVs. Yes, you heard it right. 3 brand new Toyota Rush SUVs.
Driving style for the summer. Hey, Digicel summer rush.
Start topping up now.
Guyana, please join me on the Glenn Lal Show, 99.1, 99.5 FM, Kaieteur Radio, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 7:20 p.m., and a rebroadcast of the next day at 11 a.m., just in case you miss that program.
And now for the news in detail. As world leaders take steps to wean their respective energy systems off fuels and onto cleaner sources of power such as solar, hydro and wind, there are quite a few things Guyana can do to ensure its petroleum industry is uniquely qualified to stand the test of time. In this regard, energy consultant and co-director at America's Market Intelligence, Arthur Deacon, posits that Guyana can pursue a diversified economy in a proactive and thorough manner. Deacon said too that the new oil-producing state can ensure that there is efficient blend of oil and gas production with carbon capture, storage and utilization technologies. He was keen to note, however, that the foregoing strategies must be accompanied by a more transparent and accountable government. Although the ruling party has bashed the previous administration's Natural Resource Fund law for being too politicized, Deacon said the PPPC has failed to introduce legislation to create a new fund. He also noted that the Petroleum Commission to manage the country's oil sector is yet to become a reality despite the country producing oil for nearly 2 years. And now let's tell you scores of medical personnel from the Georgetown Public Hospital were yesterday locked outside of the healthcare facility due to the fact that they were unvaccinated and could not provide a negative PCR test. This is in keeping with the government's no vaccine, no entry policy. Earlier in the month, the ministry had announced that unvaccinated healthcare workers will be given up to yesterday, Wednesday, August 26, to at least take the first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine before the government's mandatory vaccine or negative PCR requirement came into effect at the hospital. According to a letter from the director of the hospital's human resources manager, Odessa Wickham, according to the heads of the hospital department, the hospital remains committed in its mandate to ensure the health and well-being of all staff under its purview and by extension the Guyanese people during the COVID-19 pandemic. Meanwhile, the Director of Public Prosecution, Shalimar Alihak, had earlier this month recommended that the elder of 2 brothers who had allegedly raped their 12-year-old cousin be charged. The Guyana Police Force Corporate Communications Unit then confirmed that the advice was received from the DPP, but stated, however, that the 19-year-old suspect is out of the jurisdiction and no arrest has been made. We had reported yesterday that the 12-year-old girl was allegedly raped by her 19 and 16-year-old cousins a year ago, but that little action was taken by the authorities, although the incident had been immediately reported. According to information from an official at the DPP chambers, since the incident reportedly happened, the file was sent to the chambers on 3 occasions. It is understood that the file was first sent to the chambers in October of 2020, and on that occasion the DPP had advised that both the suspects and the victim undertake counseling. And troubling news, a chief security investigator employed at Aurora Gold Mines has died and 3 others injured after the company's pickup suffered a tire blowout yesterday. Dead is 55-year-old Gordon Mansfield, a retired member of the Ghana Police Force, and injured are the driver of the pickup and 2 other AGM employees. According to AGM's Director of Corporate Office, Compliance and Government Relations, Peter Benny, the pickup suffered the tire blowout and toppled around 10 hours at kilometer 33 along the Buckhall Road in Region 7. The AGM employees were at the time heading to the company's Buckhall facility from its mining operations located in Region 7. Shortly after the accident, the injured workers were picked up and rushed to the Buckhall facility where they received medical attention from the on-site medical personnel working with the mining company. And moving on, police on Wednesday morning arrested 1 person in connection with the setting on fire of a Kanji businessman's vehicles Tuesday night. Commander Jairam Ramlakan confirmed that the suspect was arrested yesterday morning and he is being questioned by investigators. 3 vehicles belonging to Betsy Ground East Kanji businessman, 46-year-old Dudnot Moses, were Tuesday night set on fire by an unidentifiable male. Police in a statement said that a motor bus and car were parked on the eastern side of the premises, and Moses' canter truck that used to transport his goods for his business was parked on the northern side of the premises when the incident occurred. Meanwhile, Moses had indicated that a $200,000 reward is being offered by them for anyone who may have information about who else might have been involved in committing the act. You're listening to Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. This is your news at noon. We will return after the break.
This is GHK Lal inviting you to join me weekdays from Monday to Friday on the National Outlook for commentary on a range of issues. Immediately after the 12 noon and 7 p.m. newscasts on Kaieteur Radio at 99.1 FM and 99.5 FM. Looking forward to you sharing in the conversation.
Welcome back. Let us continue with the news. On Wednesday night between 21 hours and 21 hours 30, an intoxicated 32-year-old woman assaulted a police officer because he tried to stop the music. According to a police report, a noise nuisance complaint was made via telephone against persons playing loud music at Facade East Bank Essequibo. Policemen responded, and upon arrival, ranks were greeted by loud music coming from the premises of the suspect. As the police entered the yard, they saw the woman and 3 other persons consuming alcohol. They warned the woman to turn off her music, and she started to drunkenly order them to shoot her. According to the video, the police attempted to uplift the music set amplifier because the woman had refused to turn off the music. In response, the woman became aggressive and physically assaulted, abusing them with a series of expletives. Due to the woman's behavior, one of the officer's phones was damaged. He was arrested and is presently in custody, pending charges. Meanwhile, the appeal hearing of Hansel Andre Lewis, who was sentenced to 13 years in prison for the attempted murder of another man on January 1st back in 2013, has been postponed. The matter, which is scheduled for hearing at the appeal court yesterday, was deferred to another date after the state prosecutor and assistant director of public prosecutions, Diana O'Brien, informed the court there were some missing notes of evidence in relation to the case. The court ordered that efforts to be made to locate the said missing evidence, and as such, a 21 days adjournment was granted. Further, the court noted that the decision would be made as to whether the matter would be heard on the adjournment date based on the status of the missing notes of evidence. Lewis is appealing the outcome of the case on the grounds of the severity of the sentence. Back in 2016, he faced a trial after he was charged with wounding with intent to cause grievous bodily harm or to maim, disfigure, or disable Chris Burrows. And moving on, a 50-year-old woman is currently homeless after her 17-year-old grandson set the home which they shared on fire. The woman has been identified as 50-year-old Usha Prasad of number 60 village, Berbice. The incident is said to have occurred following an argument between Prasad and the teen. Reports are that yesterday morning, around 8 hours, there was an argument between the two and Prasad left the home to venture out, leaving her grandson in the house. Shortly after, flames were seen emanating from the building by the neighbors. The police were contacted and, according to authorities, the teen lit a kerosene stove and placed it under the bed. This caused a fire to catch on the mattress, burning it and the entire building. Police said checks were made for the suspect, but he was not found. However, we understand that the fire service did show up to the scene and investigations are in progress. The time has now moved on to 12 hours 37, time for your COVID-19 update, followed by the page 7 of the Kaieteur News. The Ministry of Health announced yesterday that 4 women who tested positive for COVID-19 have died. As a result of this, the country's COVID-19 death toll has moved to 606. The country's latest fatalities are that of a 56-year-old from Region 3, a 69-year-old, a 78-year-old, and an 82-year-old, all from Region 4. Further, the ministry reported via its daily COVID-19 dashboard that they recorded 151 new infections, bringing the total number of confirmed cases to 24,864. Presently, there are 22 patients who are admitted into the COVID-19 ICU, 109 in institutional isolation, 1,510 in home isolation, and 6 in institutional quarantine. To date, a total of 22,617 persons have recovered from the virus. Guyana has been urged to engage Exxon to renegotiate this country's lopsided oil contract. We have news for all and the sundry who think that we will do better. Whatever crumbs was coming before, we may get a few more of those same scraps. This is what we believe that the Vice President and Exxon have come up with to set up Guyanese with high hopes, and then unload a bag of nothing much on them. Jagdeo will then get to say he did what the PNC couldn't do. He renegotiated. Even though the most disturbing clauses and condition of the contract will remain intact. That's Jagdeo's idea of renegotiating. That is part of the continuing sleight of hand that he plays with Guyanese. And with that, we've come to the end of today's News at Noon. I'm Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. Advertise today and watch your dollar grow. Call us on 225-8465 or 226-8210 today.
Time check at 12 hours 39. Coming up next, the publisher of the Kaieteur News, Mr. Glenn Law, speaks on the oil and gas sector in Guyana, followed by the national outlook with GH